On this week's episode of the RAG podcast, I was joined by Reece Pawsey. Reece is the co-founder of FinTop Consulting, a specialist recruitment company headquartered in London that specialise in product and tech within the FX and trading sector. Interesting guy, really interesting guy. He reached out to me a couple of years ago when he started, and he was only 24 when he started his recruitment company with his business partner, who was a bit older, he was about 30 at the time. 2 years later, they've built a business that's just doing around 800,000 in GP. But really interestingly, they've got 11 staff and 6 of them are based in India. So they've actually used an Indian outsource company that came via his partner to drive all of their resourcing. Well, they're building their resourcing function in India. I was fascinated by how he's done it and what it's been really like to not only hire, but train and get results from these people. He said the ROI has been insane, and he's got some really cool success stories. And it's been interesting just to find out what his life's been like. You know what? He didn't pretend he had all the answers. He was pretty funny and honest. He's been through all sorts of shit in the last 2 years. But what a guy, and what a story for people that are either about to do it or are in the thick of it, maybe year one. He's given some really cool advice, innovative ideas, and again, another one to watch for the future. So if you're interested in finding out how small businesses are operating now in the recruitment space and potentially how you could outsource some of your operations to remote parts of the world, then this one's for you. So without further ado, Reece, welcome to the RAG podcast.
Thank you.
How are you getting on?
Yeah, good. Excited.
You just turned up, caught me walking the dog outside the office.
It's quite a cute dog, to be honest.
It is a cute dog. I spotted you though. It's one of them things, isn't it? Like we've been chatting on LinkedIn. I've never met you, but I knew straight at the corner of my eye that's got to be him. It's amazing how social media can do that now.
Yeah.
It's weird. But look, I've just given you an introduction, Reece, and I always say I can never do it fully justice. So could you tell us who you are and what it is you do?
Yes, so I'm Reece, so co-director of FinTop Consulting. We're a relatively new finance and compliance recruiter based in London, mainly focused on the UK and European markets.
Brilliant. All right. So what we'll do is we'll go backwards, right? Like I say, you reached out to me, what was it about? It could have been 2 years ago.
Yeah, probably 2 years ago.
When you first started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that how old's the business now?
So we started September 2017.
Right. Yeah. So about
So
six months-ish after me. We spoke about then, and then I remember thinking, you're one to watch. I was excited to see what's going on. So tell us, what were you doing before FinTop?
So before, I guess like most, you graduated from uni. Not long after the time of Wolf Wall Street's kind of got sucked up into that false world of Rolexes and holidays away. Then graduated, saw all the 100k a year adverts, joined a company called Explore Group. Didn't earn 100k in a year.
What are they called?
Explore Group. So
Explore?
So they're a technical recruitment company.
Okay, yeah, I think I've heard of
Worked there for a year and then joined a company called Express. A small company within them, which focus on gaming and gambling. I basically set up a financial trading desk, and it's where I met my business partner, Kishore.
Right, okay. And that was, you both worked together, and that was where you left to start up FinTop?
It was, yeah. So we was part of a company called 777, which, as mentioned, focused on the gambling sector. That was completely brought out by Express. One by one, the management left, the senior management kind of joined with Express or just moved on, and it was a few guys left. Kishore wanted to leave but wanted to start something by himself. And I had a candidate who was a CEO of an FX broker, also looking to kind of diversify his investments. And it just worked out perfect time. And he WhatsApped me, I basically want to invest in a recruitment company. Kishore took me to Kitty Hawk, which is opposite our office.
Yeah, I'm going there next week.
Yeah, it's nice. We had a beer and he was like, look, this is what I want to do. So us three met, put together a business plan and run with it.
How long were you in recruitment before?
So about 2.5, 3 years.
Wow, so that's not that long, really, to be a recruitment owner.
No.
And how long was Kishore in recruitment?
So he spent about 7 years in medical recruitment, split between India and the UK, and then did 3 years at 777.
Right, so he's got 10 years.
Yeah.
Ish. So that, at least, I mean, it doesn't matter if you've got 2.5, 3 years, but you can see why he would maybe have the push to you to say,
more logical. Yeah.
So, all right, what happened then after the beer? How did it all actually happen?
It was good. It was super exciting. So we used to meet with this guy 7:30 in the morning because we started at 8. So we were trying to squeeze it in, and then we'd work after hours in the office. and write our business plan and do our projections and look at different markets. It turns out we just replicated what we was doing already. But it was very exciting.
And what was the market? You were recruiting financial trading and stuff like that?
For financial trading companies.
You were doing that before anyway?
Yeah, we was doing it mainly in London. And then when we started, we expanded into areas like Cyprus and Dubai. Mm-hmm. And since then, I kind of looked at other regions as well, like Southeast Asia.
Right, okay. So how did the name FinTop come?
So I would like to say we have a really cool story or there's a real backstory. There's not. We was going to call it FinPro because we was going to do finance and product. Yeah. It turns out there's another company called that.
Yeah, there's pretty much a recruitment company called anything right now.
Yeah. You can think of. And then we looked at doing similar to Michael Hayes. Couldn't really think of a cool enough name to do that.
Michael Page, you mean?
Michael Page.
Yeah, Hayes. Yeah. That's a real combo. Michael Hayes. If he's out there, I'd love to meet him. But go on. So yeah, you were going to combo two names or whatever.
Yeah, and then we basically just come up with FinTop.
And the top does it mean anything?
No, it doesn't mean anything.
No? I quite like it. It sounds like it should mean something.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a little bit maybe closer to the fintech space or a little bit more tech, new age related opposed to your traditional recruitment.
So how long was the time between the beer to say, yeah, let's do it, and then quitting your job and doing it?
So we had a conversation in January 2017.
I was on gardening leave in January 2017, so I was I was buzzing around the north.
Also setting up, yeah. And then in May 2017, we went on our incentive trip. So we went to Vegas. It was going to be weird. So me and Kish went, along with the two owners of 777, Michael and Dave, who didn't know this was what we was doing, and he was talking about the future of the company and et cetera, and secretly me and Kish was plotting to leave. But it was really cool. So it took quite a few months to get there.
You quit in August or whatever?
Yeah, we quit in August, yeah.
Why August?
Because we had a month notice.
Yeah, so, but why did you wait till August? Was there a bonus payment or was there something happening in August that you were like, yeah, it's time to go?
Yeah, so with 777, it was quarterly bonus.
Right.
We then moved into Express and it was monthly. And what was happening is me and Kish was thinking, okay, fine, we'll quit in June. And then a deal would go in and you'll be like, oh, yeah, but we're not going to get paid a salary, so maybe we'll just get more commission. And we're like, forget it, just cut our losses.
Yeah.
And
that is one of the biggest things, I think. I think when I was a contract recruiter, I had like a book of... One point I was billing like 70 grand a month on my own, and it was like, fucking hell, walking away from that kind of commission, it was just not doable. And then when I moved into management, I already knew at that point, which was about 18 months, 2 years before I even left, that in the future I'd want to leave and start something. And then I thought, as painful as it will be dropping my salary or what I take home, I actually halved my income the following year from 2 to 100,000, which still it's a first world problem, right? Having 100 grand, but it's a lot of money to not have when you're used to it. But I definitely thought it'd be a lot easier to leave because I won't have that. And by the end of it, I had like a few contractors and my team had all the commission anyway. So it was, I think I did it quite well. But it's definitely something you could easily get sucked into another month. Yeah. So was he, what was the relationship between you two in the job? Like how similar was the roles you had?
The way Express is laid out is you either have account managers who work for Express or within 777 you had new business, which you all were. Because Shaw's forte is really on the candidate side. So he did new business as well, but he was mainly focused on the larger accounts and mainly within products as well. Well, I was new business, financial trading.
Right.
Which is why it worked out quite well. So when we was putting together this business plan, it was put together in a way which is going to complement each other. And his was obviously the candidate and really more the operational side. And mine was the new business, client relationship development, etc. side.
Can you go into a bit more detail about how you set the business up? Because that was one of the questions I had this week was I met someone and they were like, I love the rag. I was like, oh, wicked. And they were like, but I want a bit more detail on how people set stuff up. This is someone obviously who hasn't started yet. So what did you actually do? What were the things you had to put in place at the beginning? Obviously buy laptops, so that's pretty obvious, or maybe desktops if you're a bit old school.
Yeah. So for us, it was quite fortunate. So I know a lot of people would think about your company names and look at an IPO and register to see if there's any conflict with their logo or colours or whatever. For us, it was because we had this separate investor. Some people were telling us to take large amounts of investment. We didn't. We took 15K, and then we had we basically decided to pay him back after 6 months. So he, through that agreement, allowed us to work in an office for 3 months. Supposed to be longer, but the guy eventually asked us to leave.
Right.
But it was small things. It was like, put together a proper strategy plan, because the mistake that we made was we didn't really have a plan. We had an idea about what we wanted to achieve, but it wasn't as detailed as I think it should have been. So I would put together a solid plan, and then think about your actual costs. So, for example, if you're in a market that isn't required to have a job board, don't get one. Yeah.
But I'm talking about what did you do? Let's go back into your journey. So, advice we can do later. But what did you do? So you went to an office from the investor.
Yeah.
So that was a box ticked. What else did you have to do to set it up?
Yeah. So it was a formation of the company.
Yeah.
And then we had a pretty strict restricted covenant, so we couldn't tap into any previous clients or candidates. So it was just before we left, it was networking through either people within the companies which we wanted to previously work with, or previously are working with that wanted to work with, or candidates which are pretty hot in the market, which we are not currently recruiting for. So trying to get your name out there, laying the foundations, so when you do officially start, it's not a cold call, it's a bit more of a warmer coffee or
But like things like CRM, what did you go with?
So we went with Bullhorn.
Bullhorn. Was that because you were a Bullhorn user before?
No, we was using Influence.
Right, so why Bullhorn?
Desk-based thing. So we did quite a lot of search around, and Chameleon was one, but it didn't really allow us to get the analytics or do much deep diving on the candidate. And to be honest, we just didn't like it.
Yeah.
So we went with Bullhorn. We're now with Venturi.
Oh, you moved?
Yeah, we moved, yeah.
Why?
Bullhorn is great.
Yeah.
But the user experience of it wasn't really for us. And also the analytics on Venturi is really good.
Is it?
So it allows you to really go deep down into, what fees you got currently outstanding, what fees you received. There's multiple things you can
So you think they've spent a bit more time on the detail of the platform as opposed to being just a huge brand marketed it?
Yeah.
Because Bullhorn they're the best marketed CRM by a mile, right? I spoke at Bullhorn Engage, and it's an unbelievable business. Like the size and scale of the business is incredible. Venturi seems to be popping up. So you went with Bullhorn, moved. What else? Telephony and stuff like that.
Yeah, so because we joined this office, we didn't have to worry about the telephones or anything like that, any internet access. So for us, it was a really easy transition, to be honest. It was similar to basically like starting up in our house with our mobile phones.
Yeah.
We didn't buy any laptops. We used our own laptops from home.
Yeah.
So it was quite an easy.
It is literally, like, the reason I want you to say it is because it's so simple. Like,
super easy, yeah.
Nowadays, I mean, we bought laptops. We didn't even, I've still not got landline phones. We use eDirectory that pushes people for $9.99, and it just diverts people to my mobile. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever want phones. 2019, 20. So there's so many little tools, and everything's cloud-based, right? So it's just crack on from wherever you are. All right, so you and Keyshaw started in September 2017.
Yeah.
What did you do in month one in that office? What was it like?
The office was first of all, it was super exciting, and we was the candidates and clients which we was building relationships with before, or kind of putting the feelers out, was going out and meeting them. We was really, really fortunate. So the guy that initially said he was interested.
Yeah, just the investor.
Yeah. His company, who I could never get in with before, was recruiting for a CFO, a chief compliance director, and a head of sales. So that was via a new CEO.
Wow.
So we basically got exclusivity on them straight away. That CEO then left, and he was recruiting for more support staff. So in the first quarter, it was pretty successful for us.
What did you build? Can you remember?
Just over 100K.
Wow. Do you know what? I think that was when we spoke. I'm pretty sure I remember thinking.
Yeah, we spoke in January time, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were like, you've done well here, mate. Like, that's a really good start. So you think that, had you not had that foot in the door through the investor, would it have been totally different?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think if you don't have the initial client relationship, it's really tough. So I did have a list I had put together during my gardening leave of people I know or people that we want to approach. But for us, it was just about building a brand, because FinTop was nothing. And Kishore and I were working in different markets. It was quite hard to penetrate both of them again.
So what does he do that's different again?
He was doing product in gaming and gambling,
right,
but for quite large companies.
And is he still doing that now?
Example. No, he does the same as us now.
Right, he's moved into what you're doing.
Although his role is more operations and candidate management.
Okay. So first quarter, 100 grand. Still the two of you.
Yeah.
You said you got booted out of the office after 3 months.
We did.
Tell us the story. What happened?
Yeah, so the guy was, he had a big high frequency trading company in the city. I don't know what happened. Something happened and they downsized. So we went to London Bridge. Office was okay. It was about 50 people office, all large trading screens. And this guy his support staff, a team of 6 apprentices who we initially sat with, and then he was like, actually, you're not allowed to speak to these guys at all. That was really weird. So me and Kish were coming very excited, walking around on the phone, really kind of just building the business. And after a while, he was like, that's not the environment we want. Can you just, go? So
was he still an investor?
No. So this is just someone that the investor knew.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So he was like doing us a favor. So we moved to 88 Wood Street, Regis. So, yeah, it was good, actually. It was a really nice office. It was quite small.
Yeah.
We hired a guy that previously worked with us. He was kind of in between jobs, and we got him on a day rate. And then after, I think it was a month, we offered him full time.
Really? So you got him in a day rate?
Yeah, it was like £100 a day.
Yeah, I never really heard of a recruiter on a day rate.
Yeah, so he didn't know if he wanted to go back into recruitment, and we needed someone to resource for the clients that we brought on. So we was like, look, we'll give you £100 a day if you just want to come in and crack on, and we'll pay you commission.
Yeah.
And after a while, he was like, this is pretty good. So he stayed. Unfortunately, about maybe 12 months later, 10 months later, he's left and he's gone to uni now. But yeah, he was great to have in the
I think whenever people are leaving the industry, it's usually a sign that, I mean, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but there's usually a sign that it's not going to work. They're not going to stay in it. I mean, my boss, Steve at Vanquish, used to say we had a rule that if you'd ever left recruitment, you could never join the business. Like, for no matter what your track record. So, like for me, was their most successful biller. They wouldn't have me back because I left recruitment. I'm now doing something else, and I think that's really quite an important value. I think they did that kept us in a really good place. And I've never really seen many people leave recruitment, go back and do really well. Like, because once you're out, I think you could be out. But so he was the first hire. When was this? What sort of time frame?
So this is January, early February.
Okay.
Around that same time, we opened our India office.
All right. So this was something I really wanted to talk about. I mentioned it in the intro. You, when we spoke recently, I mean, wow! Like, I was so excited to find out more about this. So set the scene. Who opens an Indian office after 6 months or whatever in a recruitment company?
So there's a bit of backstory to how we got to that point. So Kishore is from India, born and raised.
Right.
His ex-boss owns an outsourcing company for medical recruitment, which is, as mentioned, Kishore's background. Yeah. He then basically has smaller teams which cater to different companies which recruit for them. Yeah. So he was like, look, when you open up an office here, you can hire someone for not much in comparison to what you're going to pay someone here, and it allows us to kind of get the ball rolling. What we didn't want to do is just have a team there and just feed them roles and not really look after them, not cater to them. So what's really important is you give them continual development and basically build it out. But it's fortunate because Kish has a house there, his family are there. So when I went there, his family is super hospitable.
Whereabouts in India?
In Ahmedabad.
Right. Where? I'm trying to think where that is.
Hopefully pronouncing that correctly.
Ahmedabad.
But,
whereabouts in the country is it? What part of the... Do you know?
To be honest, my geography is not great of England.
You found Bethnal Green all right, so you're doing all right.
Via Uber.
Right, okay. So, but it's in India, and how do you even sign up with a process like that? Did you just do it, or did you have to go over, and how did it all...
No, so we did it all remotely. Right. So I went over for 2 weeks in May, just to kind of meet some of the team, do a small amount of training. But we kind of discussed it, because Kish has a family there in the house, it's much easier for him to go there. Yeah. If I go there, I can either stay with his family, which is an option, but then you kind of feel a burden because his family is so great that they're going to want to pick me up and take me to work and take me out for dinners. And to be honest, no one wants to take someone out for dinner 2, 3, maybe weeks of the month. So, or I stay in a hotel. So Kish goes now every few months for a month at a time.
But let's go back to the start. So he kind of did a deal through someone he knows. Yeah. And how did you receive that? Did you do a video call with these people and go, or did you just say, crack on, mate?
No. So the process with this company, Pursue Outsourcing, is the owner does the initial interview. We now have a guy in India who's been with us about 14 months. Yeah. Does the next interview. Kish does the final, which is video. If not, it's via phone, because sometimes connection's not great. And then I do the final, which is more just a kind of a small check on things like comms. Whether they've got the right basic intelligence.
So these candidates come in with recruitment experience when you get them?
Not tech. So actually in that experience, the best candidates that we've hired are ones from medical recruitment. They kind of have a brief understanding of the role, and they're great at speaking to people on the phone. The guys that we've hired from other tech recruitment companies are essentially account managers or resources, which is fine, but they lack some of the skill of really going out and finding them for a new role because they've got a huge database.
Yeah. So how did it actually start? How many people did you get in the first instance from this company?
So we only hire a small amount of time, or small people at a small amount of time. So we took 2 people on.
Right.
Unfortunately, one didn't work out. She still works within the company, but in a different role.
Okay.
And Sam, who's still with us now. And then we continually hire there. So we interview continuously and try and weed out.
So they came with medical recruitment experience.
Yeah.
They plug into Bullhorn at the time, and now it's Vincere, right?
Yeah.
And then how do you manage these people? How do you make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Yeah. So we use TeamViewer.
Right.
So I think it's free up to a certain amount of users, or we just log in as and when. So we use TeamViewer. So I'll go on, say for example, with one of the girls, Jazz. Yeah, I say I have a role as whatever, head of finance, and then we'll put together a Boolean search together. I'll look at her searches. I think the best approach for these things is it's not going to be successful unless you give them the tools and the training that's required. You wouldn't hire a resourcer here and just be like, crack on.
No, you wouldn't.
For a database.
But at least you can have them next year. Now, I mean, I'm a massive video fan. Like, obviously, I love video. And we've got 9 remote workers at Hoxo that all they do. 2 of them are in Thailand right now. They're English, but they're traveling the world, and pisses me off when he's on like a video call and he's there with like a Chang beer and a cigarette. Only an internal meeting. I've told him not to do it with the client base, but it works really well through video because we can share screens. But again, we're talking about experienced people, like guys that are coming in with copywriting backgrounds, development backgrounds, paid media backgrounds. We haven't took a rookie in and done that yet. So how experienced in recruitment were they, and how much work did you have to put in early doors and via video to get them up and running?
Yeah, I think they weren't very experienced at all.
Yeah.
But I think like everything, you have to look at the cost-reward ratio. So with these guys, you're not going to pay them the same as you would someone in London.
How different is it?
Yeah, no, it is different. If you're paying someone 20k in London, you could probably pay them, depending on the experience. I'm skeptical to say because I don't want the whole team to listen and everyone know the salaries, but it will be much less.
It's considerably less.
Considerably. So you're more flexible because you can give them more time. So it may take them 3 months to actually get up and running. Yeah. Maybe even 4 to be completely honest.
Right.
But then you're not paying them. But I think the best way to manage them is via Team Viewer, and then just.
What's TeamViewer, like a video sharing?
Yeah, it's great. So someone in India will open up and log in. Yeah. I will open up the app as well, and then she'll tell me the code, and I get full access to her screen. And at the same time, I'm on the phone, or she can type or I can type.
Right. So you can talk to each other and you can go in and fix stuff.
Yeah.
So what did you give them as the first few tasks? Like, what did you get them doing?
So we got them doing basic searches in the UK. So for example, we had quite a lot of tech roles on at the time. Mm-hmm. So I'd be like, okay, we have a front-end developer, TeamViewer, basic search. This is what a good TV looks like. This is what a bad TV looks like. I get them to write a brief about the client. And we give them full detailed job specs.
Yeah.
But it's just initially taking the time for them to understand the role. And then I'll just let them crack on.
Their role is the same as the UK. So they're in Bullhorn, they're on LinkedIn, they're phoning people.
Yeah, phoning people. It's a resourcer role.
And how do you do the telephony? Is it all like voice over IP or something?
Oh yeah, we have white phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have to pay for that, or does the company?
No, we pay for it.
Yeah,
we pay for it.
Are they permanently with you, or is it like a contract?
They are. So the way it works is we pay a set fee per month.
Yeah.
And then they invoice us. So say for example, they invoice just hypothetically £3,000 a month, and then we pay the commission. So say they're due £1,000, they'll just invoice for.
Yeah.
The benefit is that you don't have any tax requirements. There's no any legal requirements, whether it be holidays or work from home or whatever, is taken on by the outsourcing company. So for you could, if that's the way you want to operate, hire and fire whenever you liked.
Yeah. But that's not how you operate, I imagine.
No, not at all.
No. So, no, surely not. But I really want to get under the bonnet of how it got off the ground. So you hired 2. How quickly did they get off the ground and start contributing, even if just like CVs and good quality interviews, things like that?
I think it took them about 4 months to get off the ground. And that was actually quite hard work. Around that time I flew to India, spent time with them there, and Kish was speaking to them. I think Kish also flew about a month after and spent some time with them.
And does he do most of the management and training of these guys?
He does, yeah.
It makes sense if you're running around BD and he's doing that bit.
Exactly, and he's got a young family as well, so his wife's also from India. So when he goes, they just all fly over.
Yeah.
And he just works from there and does training.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds like, I mean, would it work if you didn't have someone like him in the team, do you think?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So with TeamViewer and with the white phones and continuous communication, anyone can do it. I think the most important thing is treating them no different than treating a resourcer. If you have KPIs for the resources, give them the same. If you have training for the resourcer, okay, you can't do it face to face, but give them the same. We know other companies who've done similar, and they give them a job, and they won't give feedback or lack of communication, and then they basically let go of the resourcing company, and someone in India loses their job. So I think you just got to treat them the same, give them the same amount of resource.
How much does the cultural changes or differences have an impact?
I don't think it's massively different. I think expectations are a little bit higher. It sounds like it's very easy there, and this is a massive broad statement. This is only what I've experienced.
Yeah.
For companies to get involved with people's personal life. For example, the outsourcing company we work with pays for lunch, dinner, and breakfast every day. That's a great benefit. But he also pays for taxis for girls to get home. I heard recently he supplied accommodation for and childcare for a girl who basically works in his company.
Is that because they're paid such little salaries though? They can afford to do all the rest.
They pay pretty well, but I think it's just.
But relative, it's pretty good over there, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I think it's due to competition. So he does medical outsourcing with additional teams like us, and mate, I tell you, in Amnibad there's loads of medical recruitment companies.
Yeah. So
you got to do what you can to retain the staff, and adding these additional benefits is a big thing.
Right. Who's the company you use? Can you share it?
Yeah, Pursuit Outsourcing.
Pursuit Outsourcing.
Yeah, I can send you a link. You can add
Yeah,
it
put
to
it on this post.
thing.
I mean, I'm sure it won't impact you if he's got more business, but I think it's
fine.
something that I'm sure people will reach out if after listening to this, because you did. I mean, let's talk a bit more about it. Let's find out a bit more how it's gone. So, because I mean, honestly, that is for me. I've not heard anyone else do it, and I know a couple of. I think QX are a company that I've spoken to. Georgina, she's great, and they pitch a very similar product, but I didn't know any of their customers, but you're using it. So, how did that year progress? You took 4 months to get off the ground.
Yeah.
How's the rest of that year going?
So in March, we hired 2 more people. So we was a team of 5 in London. Like everything, some people work out, some people don't. So these guys shortly left. And then towards the end of the year, we had 4 in India, and we had me and Kish.
So when the guys in India are surviving and the guys in England aren't.
Yeah, but again, so with India, you can continuously hire.
Yeah.
And it's not going to have a massive effect on your P&L because you're not paying a rec to rec.
Yeah.
So with them, a lot of people came in and left. Fortunately, some people have been with us over a year. In fact, the staff in India is lasting longer than the staff in London.
So if we go back to that year, though, what happened to the guys in England that you hired?
One guy went to university. The other, a girl, just decided to basically join a North American recruitment company, which she was doing previously. And the other guy, we set up a new desk for him, and he was basically doing quite well. Then he joined a competitor doing the same thing, and now he's got his own recruitment company. So,
really?
Yeah.
Get him on the rag next week.
That's it.
So, but look, we can never hold people back for doing what they want to do. It's what we've all done.
Yeah.
Right? But in terms of the lessons from that year, from those hires, what did you learn from that? I
think the massive, probably most important lesson was using an outsourcing HR company. Because, Kishore and I wasn't a team lead before, so there's a lot of things I didn't have to deal with. And equally, I think it's always good to have the support of someone that knows. You can wing it, you can kind of Google things or try your luck, but it's always better to be safe than sorry.
So you use the outsource HR to help exit people and stuff?
We do, yeah.
And who's that you use?
We use, to be completely honest, I just can't remember, but I will tell you.
Yeah, put it again in the link. We will get to the bottom of where the office in India is and who this company are. Do not worry. So what did you bill in that first full year?
So the first year was 380.
It's not a bad start.
No, it was okay. Yeah, it was pretty good, yeah.
And how did year 2 go? So you get
year
through,
2,
you got 4 in India, you got 2 in England, in London, you built 380 grand.
Yeah. So it goes back to what I said before, it was about strategy. So we kind of winged the first year.
I like your honesty. There's a lot of people that do.
Yeah, so we didn't want to ever do tech.
Yeah.
And then the only way for us to either work with clients or remain working with them was to do tech. So, and that's what we're doing as well now. So Kish and I moved to WeWork in Moorgate.
Right. Is that where you are now?
No, so we're moving again, actually, end of this month.
Right.
So we've got a 6-man office there, and we hired 2 guys, one with experience, one with less experience. They're still with us. And now we've hired a more senior guy to focus on like banking and compliance.
See the guy who I mentioned? The guy who had his own business before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw some content he did on his own, and then
Yeah, loves the video.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Is it Anthony? Is it
Anthony? Yeah.
Anthony? Yeah.
You'll love this shout out.
Well, Anthony, if you remember, mate, I watched you do a video in a, I think it looked like an office in like a wood shed.
Yeah.
And I gave you some pointers because I thought your enthusiasm was wicked. But and then I saw you pop up with these guys, so I'm glad it's going well. But so year 2, how did that progress? What was the difference in year 2? Because actually, if you've listened to any of my recent episodes, I keep getting this same story that year 1's actually easier. Because like you say, you're winging it. There's less pressure. You just fucking do it. Year 2, you start to think, shit, what am I actually doing? How did you go?
It was much easier in year 1 because I think the excitement's still there. The ball's rolling. It's just me and Kier, so we don't really have to worry about anything else.
Yeah.
Now you've got additional headcount. So we've retained the staff, which is great. We've expanded India. We've got 6 now. We're in London. We're moving to a 10-man office end of the month, and we've got 5 in India. In terms of strategy, it's good. So we've re-strategized a few times.
Yeah.
As with probably most smaller companies. Billings have increased. So I think we'll end up maybe something like between 750 and 800.
In year 2, yeah.
Touch wood.
Have you not finished yet? It's September to September, no?
No, so, okay, yes, we did an extended year.
Right.
So we did September and then extended it
Till
to December.
Yeah. We did the other way around. This year we had a short year because we started it in March, April.
Okay.
It just doesn't feel right starting a year in March.
Yeah,
April.
I'm not a massive fan.
Nah, I'm definitely a calendar year kind of guy. So, what do you reckon? You'll finish it on about, 800, 750, 800? That's really good,
Hopefully.
mate. It's really, really good for year 2.
Yeah, we've been really lucky to win. So the guys that have brought one have done well. I think a big thing, which I don't know if other people have this problem as well, is when you're small, all the pressure's on you to bill. So some of the mistakes we're making were you're not giving the guys enough time and training. It's kind of just letting them crack on or giving them ad hoc training here and there. So moving forward, I think it's a massive benefit in having a structured training plan. Unfortunately, we did it in our first year with the first 2 hires, and then for whatever reason didn't do it again.
It's weird why that happens though. Like I know exactly what you mean. Like my business was even different because we built a business we'd never worked in. So I didn't even I couldn't even fall back on recruitment because I never worked in marketing before.
Yeah.
So one of my business partners did, but it was still different. It wasn't the same type that we were doing. So we were like, how do you train people at the beginning when you don't even know what you're training with to get loads of external support? There was so much shit we went through. But I completely subscribe to year 2 being much more difficult. You start to realize as well you've got something to lose. Like it's like fuck off. You've got people's salaries to pay. So how has the client base evolved in the last 2 years? How have you? Because you said you started off with a couple of people that you got referrals through the investor. I imagine your covenant finished. How have you found winning business as a small business? Because I get a lot of questions around. Will we win clients if we've not got the big brand behind us that we had before?
Yeah, I think to be very honest, a lot of the clients that we were working with in year 1 were small brokers or small FX, or we did bring on some big clients, but it was all through referrals. Now we've got 2 full books of accounts, so we can open up more accounts. Mm-hmm. But we're still tapping into the small companies, and that's our bread and butter really. Is the small fintech, the small brokers, or if they're bigger brokers, then it's small offices. Yeah.
And are you responsible mainly for BD yourself?
Yeah, so the London office is BD and the Indian office is resourcing. So we have a 70-30 split. So the way it works is if someone, just again for easy maths, say one of the team does a 10K deal, but it's split with India's candidates, because at the moment the London team is managing the process and arranging interviews and closing the candidate, etc., and the client side, they get 70%, so they'll get 7,000 credited to their billings, and in India will take 30.
Okay. And so no one in London does 360 and no one in India does?
So they do, to be honest. But they do it for senior level only, with the idea of them meeting a candidate and flipping it into a client, which is difficult for India to do from India.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So you'll have a certain level of role. Sometimes you'll say, we'll just keep it and we'll do it ourselves. But majority goes out to India. Yeah,
so if it's like a head of or managerial position or team lead or something similar to that, then it will remain in London. Or even if it's resourced via India, all the candidate relationships, soon as after it's been qualified, will come by London.
And so that gets me on. How do they go about doing what they do? Do they use any innovative software from India? Like, do they book video calls with people, or is it all just classic phone calls, screening?
Yeah, it's classic phone calls. It's standard, job boards, LinkedIn Recruiter, And now the database, now that we've got a bit of candidate network.
And are you having to go and rescreen again, or do you take them and send them? Like how good have they got to the point where?
Yeah, so it comes down to the training. So when we first started, having an India team, it was a case of kind of rescreening, redoing some of the qualification sheets, because whilst their English is great, and most of them got masters or degrees from UK or at least English-speaking universities, it wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
But now it's fine. Now it's great. They understand what they're doing.
So you literally will take 5 CVs and send them straight to a client now?
Yeah, we check them out, but yeah, essentially.
But essentially, yeah. And do you have any kind of ratios you've put together? And like, if you get a job, how do you measure how much you want the Indian people to do?
So they just have KPIs. So they depend on the role. They have a KPI of 2 CVs a day. We did break it down to things like new LinkedIn connections, or candidate calls added, or new candidates to the system.
Mm-hmm. But
I didn't want to break it down that much because, to be honest, they could add 100 candidates and actually they're just shit candidates.
Yeah.
So we just did it by qualified, good CVs sent out a day.
But if you got a job, say, for example, you get a vacancy,
yeah,
would you expect a certain level of activity? Like, I don't know, they speak to 25 people or 100 people, they get screen a long list and give you 5 CVs? Or do you go away and say, right, this is what I want to that level per job?
To be honest, we don't. So we did before, and it was, we'd really watch their call times. We still listen to their calls. Yeah. But we would be like, what are you doing? But now it's just a case of like, show me your activity for the day, what you want to achieve. And then we have 3 catch-ups in the morning, depending on what they're working on, at lunchtime, and then in the evening. And I'll be like, show me your activity, show me your searches, who have you spoken to, who's the best candidates, instead of it being like, that's a strict KPI you've got to adhere to.
Sure. Okay. And I guess all your billings are coming from India, really, aren't they? So what percentage of that 700-800 grand you're going to do will come from candidates they've generated?
To be fair, probably not that much. So the thing with India is, and like most, we're more likely to give them more time to get up and running. There's a few guys in India which are really, really good. But most of the billings probably comes from London because it's more senior roles. We don't really do anything below 40K. We're still not that junior, but still. So
do you know how much money has been generated from their candidates against that number?
Probably 30%.
30%?
Yeah.
So what's divided by 3? What are we talking about? Just under 200, 250?
Yeah, give or take.
So the ROI on what you spent for 250?
Oh, the ROI is insane. I would encourage anyone to look into doing this.
So you're not, whilst you're still doing more deals in London, it's still like, it sounds like ROI is so good.
Yeah, the real value for these guys will come when we have the clients. So at the moment, yes, we've got like decent client base, but when we have the clients which are either very contract focused, because at the moment we're pretty much 90% perm, or when we're working with large RPOs which are looking for hundreds of candidates, in which case India is the one to go to. And
what have you found the hardest thing about being an owner of a small business?
I think wearing many hats. I love billing and I love recruitment. Don't really love the rest of the side of it, but I think it's being exposed to things which you wouldn't even think about. So I remember sitting with Kishore when we was at Express and being like, mate, if we do a 20K deal and we put half of that back into the business, we're going to take 5K each. Actually, that's not quite how that works. So,
it's not like that at all.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
So I think it's understanding, the different complexities and actually having a small business. Like being involved in the accounting or the legal side, or taking a client to court if they're not paying the fees. All things like this.
Have you had to do anything like that?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
You've already had to take a client to court?
Yeah, so we took a client to court last week. That was successful. Paid today. Happy days.
Really? Well, did you actually go to court and talk about it in court?
Okay, so...
Did you get the legal letters and then they paid?
So the first time, actually, we've done this a few times. So... And this
few times? You missed it by a day. Quick, let us get out.
The first time we thought we was pretty confident. We was like, we don't need to pay 8K for a lawyer. Yeah. We'll be okay. We'll go there. That was a waste of time. No, we definitely didn't win that.
Yeah.
The second time we paid for the lawyer and it was worth every penny. So I would encourage anyone to follow proper
So what
procedure.
actually happened? Like, why did you even get to that point?
So we placed a CTO into a small fintech company. And essentially what happened is the client wanted to pay in installments. that was fine. We was like, okay, you can pay in installments because you're getting funding, etc. But then they'd pay one installment and not pay the other, and not pay the other, and then come back and say, yeah, they're not paying because the head of finance is traveling, and it's not my problem.
Yeah.
And it was small things like this would just add up and add up. So we had to send a CCJ and go through that whole rigmarole and then get the lawyers involved. But yeah, they paid it in the end.
Yeah. And what happened? So the first time when you lost, what happened then?
Yeah, that was stupid, to be honest. So it was pretty bold and thought we had a really good case. So,
I love the word thought in there. We thought we had a good case.
Yeah, so again, a startup company placed their head of compliance. They paid the fee. Again, very weird. So it's the first time it's ever happened. So the guy was like, I can't pay the full fee, I'll pay in installments. Okay, fine. So he paid, I think it was split over 3 payments. He paid 3,333 first. Yeah. He then was like, look, I can't wire you the money because he was a crypto company trying to set up a bank account, but I'll pay you in cash. And I was like, oh, that's a bit dodgy, but okay, fine. So this random guy come around and dropped off 3,333. And then he sent through the rest of the money, but he was really late in the payments. So
he was what?
He was really late on his payments.
Right.
So me and Kish was like, late payments, refer back to our initial terms of business, which is increased from 15 to 25. I was like, job done. Massive fee. Anyway, went to the court and the court was like, yeah, you can't do that. So that was a lesson learned.
So what happened? Did you pay fees then?
No. We got the total fee and we walked into the court and he was there. And it was a little bit weird because we had a good relationship before. And then the court was like, go through the court case. We stood up and said a few words, like, this is the issue. He didn't have to say anything. I think she was just like, no. So just stamped it and that was the end of that. And then at the end, we both, us three, Mick Shaw and the guy, walk out the court case. And then I don't know why I didn't wait, but we're both standing in the same lift for like 30 seconds. It's so awkward.
Oh, it sounds horrible.
Yeah. It was quite funny.
You didn't even say like, at least we got that done. It's over now, or...
No, we just all stood silently. Me and Kish looking at each other.
You didn't ask for any more roles? You didn't see if you had any more roles?
No.
Imagine that.
Don't think he'll access.
Can you just find me a head of development now? Oh, fucking hell. That's a lot in the first 2 years to have 2 court cases.
Yeah, it was a bit intense.
Yeah, it sounds it. Do you think that's a concern working with small businesses in general? Like,
yes,
because when you're small, you tend to lean on, you navigate to other small businesses.
Yes, we lost quite a few clients in the first year as well. So a big client of ours, an FX broker, who we did all them first deals with, we then placed it was like I think it was like head of client services or something like that. Anyway, that fee didn't get paid because they went into administration. So we lost 15k there. Fuck. And then we just had loads of clients close down for one reason or the other. Yeah. So there is definitely a downside to working with these small companies. Is
that part of your strategy then, to find slightly bigger or more established organizations?
I think, the long run, it'd be great to work with companies like Barclays or Tier 1 banks, which offer them loads of roles and chances of them going on are very slim. But I like working with a small company and getting to know the owner and helping him build the team and getting to see it develop. And also, for us, it's good to get the foot in the door. Because whilst it's great to have the big PSLs, it's also really hard to kind of get established within them, right? Yeah,
massively. So, Keyshaw and you, he's more delivery and management, you're more sales and client-facing.
Because when we first started, we had these roles from the investor, which was already the market I was operating in. It was really easy for me to kind of just crack on with them and kind of go back to what we was doing before. Where Kish didn't have them roles, so it was really easy for him to fall into an operations role of setting up the job boards and LinkedIn Recruiter and dealing with separate accountants. We've changed them since, and doing the more operational side. And then as the businesses grew, we've kind of said, like, what do you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy doing? And it turns out for him, he enjoys operations and candidates, and I enjoy being a bit more client-facing. Yeah,
I'm more like you then.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure Amma, my business partner, liked the other stuff. It was kind of just, with us, we had one needed to do it. He's moved into a new role now, which is actually very client-facing, but it's more delivery-focused, which enables us to split that. How do you keep the relationship going between you two? And it's a question I'm genuinely interested in, because I know what we do, but I'm having a lot of conversations with people that are partners, and it's a really tricky relationship. It's a fucking relationship. You need to really get that right. If you get that wrong, it can be really detrimental. So how do you and Keyshaw manage that founder relationship?
Yeah, you're right. It's literally like being in a relationship. I think, we do have disagreements, but fortunately it's nothing too big, and we kind of try and take a logical perspective, try and keep emotion out of it, and always try and do what's right for the business. But we haven't had massive bust-ups or arguments or fights outside the pub. it's been pretty fortunate. I think it's
Yeah.
just like sitting down, talking about, you know, what your argument is, what my argument is, and then seeing out, you know, what works best.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm like, mate, that's not the right choice. And he's like, don't be a donut, it is. And then I'm like, all right, yeah.
Just go with it.
Yeah.
So how old are you now?
26.
Yes. I thought you're like one of the youngest I've met. Probably the youngest I've had on this podcast. Gotta be. And he's a bit older, I imagine.
Yeah, he's 32.
Right. So he's my age pretty much. Well, I'm
32,
33. I'm 33, but I'm still holding on.
Yeah.
My age. But so your life and his life are quite different as well.
Yeah, so to be honest, when we started business, it was a really different beginning. So Kish was obviously married. He then had a newborn, which fortunately, he was really lucky that, you know, I think he had his wife's mum here and some additional network. So he was quite lucky to not have to, you know, be bogged down by the baby in the middle of the night. And I was fortunate enough that I didn't have that. And I was able to just move home. My costs were much lower. I was traveling from Buckinghamshire, but not a big deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a very different beginning.
And how's your life evolved now? Because his sounds like it's stable, got kids, family in India. What's yours like?
Yeah, so now I live with my girlfriend in Crystal Palace.
Oh, that's where I've got a place, Crystal Palace.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's nice.
It's a really nice spot. Whereabouts?
So Crystal Palace Parade, just behind Westow House.
Oh,
the pub
wow.
in the corner.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at the other end. So if you go to where the White Hart pub is,
Yeah.
just walk straight down that road. I live at well, I don't live there. I've got a flat there.
Yeah.
One of my old colleagues is in it. He's moving out in at the end of the year. So if anyone who's listening, this isn't even a fucking joke, mate. Anyone who's listening, little plug for my flat. I've got a 2-bedroom apartment available from January 1st in Crystal Palace.
I recommend it.
It's beautiful. Nice. It's exposed brick. It looks it's the bollocks, mate. But seriously, I need to find someone. When I went to the estate agent and I spent like 4 weeks. My brother lived in it when I left. I moved to Essex to be with my wife, well, now wife, and my brother moved in. And then when he moved out, I was like, oh, fuck, I've got to find someone. So I used the estate agent that sold it to me. And he's a good lad, like really got on with him, but he just couldn't get rid of it. Like 4 weeks in August, I think I had like 2 viewings. Put it on Instagram and boom, one of my old colleagues was like, yeah, I'll take it, done. So I'm like, I'm going to put it on social media with Instagram and LinkedIn. I've got like 25,000 people. So, but who knows, the rag might actually come save the day.
Yeah.
So you live in Crystal Palace with your girlfriend and she's Turkish as well, isn't she? Or Cypriot
She is.
Turkish?
Yeah, Cypriot Turkish, yeah. So
Yeah.
I've been trying to learn that language.
You trying to be me? Is that what it is?
I see it, mate, yeah.
Lived in Crystal
Need a
Palace with my
Hoxo
Turkish.
jumper.
I'll give you one. You got a bottle in front of you. So how long have you been together?
So we've been together a year.
Right.
So it's going well. But I think, you know, so she was my candidate.
Oh, this is getting nice now. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Go
So
on.
I approached her about 2-3 years ago to basically work for a company in Cyprus.
Yeah.
And then we stayed in touch. And then I go to Cyprus to meet clients. And there's an expo which I attend there.
Yeah.
And
Is
then
there a lot of financial trading going on over there?
Yeah, huge for
Yeah.
FX.
Yeah.
It's not. No, I'm joking. And so yes, I just met her. And then we were speaking for years. And then we decided to basically start dating long distance. And I was going over.
She actually grew up in Cypriot Turkey then?
Yeah.
Oh, Turkish Cyprus, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
North Cyprus, yeah. And
Yeah.
then, so I was flying over every month to telling. I was meeting clients, but actually I was flying over to see her, to be honest. And she was flying over every month to see me. So we were saying, look, let's just do this long distance. We did that for about 6 months. And she got a place here to move to London. Unfortunately, it fell through. And then she was like stressed about what to do. And she didn't have a job. And I was flat sharing in Limehouse.
Yeah.
So I was like, just come move in with me.
Yeah.
And it was a bit crazy, actually. It was a bit intense because it was flat share. She didn't have a job, didn't know the city.
Yeah.
And now you're living with,
And
me.
you've got a fucking business with people in India and in London and you're like 24/7.
So yeah, but now we're in Crystal Palace. It's happy days.
And is she, because is her part of Turkey, is she classed as Turkish or Cypriot in terms of like visas and stuff?
Yeah, so you can either be fully Turkish. So her parents are from Paphos,
Yeah.
which is the south side. But then, whenever the war started, basically Muslims went to the north.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Christian and the Greek side stayed on the south.
Yeah.
So she's got an EU passport.
EU passport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I couldn't even, like, when we got married, like, half my wife's family couldn't even come. Like, they can't even come on holiday. Like, the cost of visas and stuff just wiped them out. So it's,
Where did you get married? UK or Cyprus?
yeah. No, she's not Cypriot. She's Turkish. She's Istanbul, my wife.
Okay,
Her
nice.
family, yeah. She was born here. We got married in East London. We were going to have a wedding in Turkey as well. But the cost and the logistics was just one wedding's a fucking nightmare. Trust me. If you're gonna do it, wait till the business is more stable. Like I had this year, I felt like I've had like some big moment in my life for like every year. So I've had like buy a house, tick, quit and start a business, tick. Save for an engagement ring, tick. Get another house, renovate it, tick. Get married, tick. And then it's like all these things ticked off. Next one is, I've got a dog. Should have been a kid, but we've got a dog.
That's what I was going to say. Next one's the kid.
You just met Henry, the dog. He's, there's no chance of having kids after that dog's coming into my life. It's fucking so much work. So how are you finding the whole, you've got to try and be a partner to someone. She's probably going to lean on you for the city and friends and stuff. And then your business must be full on. How are you balancing that?
I think there's a mutual understanding of, to be honest, it's really easy. So there's a mutual understanding of kind of, I'm going to work and she's going to work and do her thing as well. But it was actually really easy because when she first moved, she was doing waitressing, which is shift work.
Yeah.
But to be honest, the way our business is structured is, it's all about flexibility. Yeah, we're not a company where I'm going to be on you for 3 hours on the phone. And if you haven't, your family a candidate at the end of the day, I'm going to chain you to your desk. It's just a case of, if you want to come in the office at 8:30 and you want to leave at 6 because you don't live in London or whatever reason you want to leave, you want to go gym, etc., then you can do so, but you have to hit your targets before, or at least hit the targets within the month. And that's the way we've built a business moving forward.
Is everyone in London in the office every day? Can you work from home? Have you got any kind of different cultural stuff going on?
Yeah, so you can work from home if you get to a certain senior level. So with Ant, for example, he works from home 1 day a week. I think it's after you get to a principal consultant, you can work from home.
What's the reason for that? Why would you give it to some people and not others? Just a question. No, there's no ulterior motive with it. I promise.
To be completely honest with you, because I don't think unless you're senior enough, you can be completely left alone without needing us at all.
Right.
I think Ant doesn't.
But haven't you got that thing in India though? what's it called? View.
Yeah, TeamViewer.
Can't you just do the same thing? Surely, if you've got someone in India you never see, if they're in their house in Buckinghamshire or something, surely that's fucking closer, right?
Yeah, to be fair, you could.
Yeah, you can't have a complete remote Indian team, and then you've got to get to principal before you can fucking go
I can't
home.
argue that.
Yeah, that just because we did it, like we rolled it out. JJ's here. He never speaks on the podcast, but he's in the room. He's laughing. We rolled out working from home to everyone it was August last year, wasn't it? And no one did it. No one.
Really?
We were because we give it no framework, no organization. We just said you can work from home. So no one was like, well, how, when, what? Whereas now we've got a process where it's managed by the local manager. So who you let your reporting line in advance. I mean, even in the morning you can let us know, but you've got to be plugged in. And we use Google Hangouts as our Slack or whatever that you can tell if people, it says they're active if they're online, and you can DM them if they're not responding, and then you can check their calendar and see what they're up to. And depending on the job title, you'll know they're either on the phone or in a meeting or whatever. And it comes, I think, just personally, it's an element of just trusting people. I think if you hadn't had the Indian one, I wouldn't be surprised, but because you got that, I thought you'd be like, anyone can do anything.
I think as the team gets more senior, we will, but at the moment, we're still very much hands-on with the team. So to be honest, it'll probably be detrimental to them to not be next to us or in the office.
But the Indian people they go to an office, right? So they're not. Yeah, that's the difference. That's why it's different, because they're not sat at home there. So have they got a line manager there that is part of your business, or
no? So at the moment, Sam's our most senior guy.
Yeah.
But to be honest, if they have any queries, so the way the business is structured is, unofficially, everyone has a resourcer. They're not seen as resourcer, they're seen as a partner, if you like, to a particular desk. But if someone has a question about a tech role, they're going to phone someone else within the business and so forth. So it's very easy for them to kind of get quick information from the relevant person. Yeah. And personally in the office, I can phone in whenever I want.
Yeah. So, all right, going back to the Indian piece, because that's the main area of this episode.
Yeah.
What would you do differently if you could do it again?
I think I would put a rigor training plan in place. I think before we took the approach of any roles that we didn't want to work here, or any roles like tech, for example, which we didn't see as a main focus of the business, we would ship to India. There was no focus surrounding what their specialist market was. It would just be like, we've got this junior role, 25k. No one in London should work it, ship it to India. Actually, that's not going to allow them to be successful. And in return, we're not going to make money.
What you're thinking is that a role we're never going to fill, we're just giving ourselves a very, very small percentage.
Yeah, and we're just thinking, but if they don't fill it and they fill something else, no big deal, because, and it's really bad to say, but the cost of having them wasn't that large compared to this one in here. But now, and what I would encourage everyone to do is put together a clear structure. So, for example, okay, you have X person in India. This is your market, just like you would someone in the UK.
Yeah.
This is where you're going to be speaking to candidates in this market. This is how you recruit them, etc., etc. And now if we have a particular tech role come in, bam, we send it to that person. We have one girl which just focuses on Cyprus for me. We have one person that does, different banking, wealth management, tech, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a much stronger understanding of the market, and in return, they do my deals.
And how many have you got in there now?
We've got 5.
And I've looked on your website, and it's really well done the way you've got. Who did all that? Like the photography over there looks the same as here, and you wouldn't know unless you were told.
No, yeah, that was the aim. I think moving forward, we're going to get a white wall for everyone.
Yeah.
Just looks like, hopefully, it just looks like we're a really multicultural company, which we are.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm open with the Indian office. I think another thing that's important is,
I that's one thing a lot of people would be scared of. Like, what would our clients and candidates think?
Yeah, but I think if you're adding value to the candidates and the clients, then one, they shouldn't care, and two, you should not. You shouldn't be ashamed. We had a company incentive. Actually, we're not going now, but maybe next year in Thailand, purely because one, the boys in London wanted to go, and most importantly, it's really easy for Indians to get visas.
Yeah.
And if we're going to go on a company incentive, then we're going to bring them with us.
When's that?
Well, actually, we were supposed to do it in the summer, and we just didn't do it.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be next year.
Well, rainy season was in Thailand anyway, most of it. So
not happy days.
You're better off going January, February, in my experience.
Yeah.
So what's next? Where's FinTop heading? You've got 12 people, did you say, in the total? Or is it 10?
Yeah, 11 people, yeah.
11. And you've now, like you say, you're circa 700-800 grand going into year 3 next year. What's the plans? Yeah,
I think for us, we're going to much more strategic. So we're looking to grow, but I don't think we're ever going to grow super aggressive. I never want to have a company which is like hire 10 grads, fire 8, keep 2. So we're going to grow as and when's needed, hire 2, nurture them, develop as and when. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be, actually, we can't actually grow in London, to be honest, because we're only in a 10-man office. But in India, we're looking to double as and when the clients require.
And where are you heading in the new office?
So Old Street, Regis.
Regis?
Well, Spaces.
Spaces? What's that? Their cool new...
Yeah, that's their WeWork equivalent.
What's it like? Nice.
Yeah, it is nice. It's much cheaper than WeWork.
Yeah.
Much larger space. I would recommend anyone checking them out before going to WeWork.
Well, we're in Workspace. You said you like it here, right? This is Workspace.
You got Wrinkle Office.
Yeah, Workspace is, and again, another version of WeWork, but you just don't get the free beer and coffee, and the price is super cheap compared to WeWork.
Yeah, we were sold on that. Meeting rooms and free beer. But in reality, how often are you sitting in the office drinking beer during the week?
You're not, are you?
So
coffee's good. Coffee machines are good.
Yeah, to be fair, that's a good thing.
I also don't think I need more coffee. Like, I could drink it all day and then my head will blow up. Like, I'm really bad because I love the taste so much. I don't think I need that in my life at the minute either.
Yeah.
But where's the long term? What's the vision for FinTop? Where are you heading? Next year is about doubling and growing in India. But where you're a really young guy, like 26. Where do you want to take this business?
So we want to grow the business to bring as much as we can. Steady growth over the years. But we want to have quality clients, quality candidates, focus within the banking and financial training space, which will take us outside of London because, to be honest, that market is getting smaller and smaller here. So we're looking
at... With Brexit, I'm sure it's even going to get worse.
Brexit, with regulation, and just with the cost of staff. So we're expanding in, maybe, as to say, non-conventional markets, like Kuala Lumpur. We've got clients we've just placed there. Singapore, Cyprus, we're pretty strong. So we're expanding within these regions.
So will Brexit affect you in any way then?
I think it will affect the London clients, but hopefully not too much on the rest of the business.
Are those clients moving to European hubs now, like Dublin or Amsterdam or Belgium?
Yeah, Cyprus is a massive one for all my clients. We just placed a CEO in Singapore.
Right.
And then, Southeast Asia, because there's loads of customers there. So
Yeah. Wow. Well, and personally, long term, do you want to sell the business? Have you got vision for exit?
When we started, the vision was to sell. But to be honest, I love it. It is like having I'm sure other parents will say it's not, but it is like having a small baby. You're nurturing it, big focus on marketing, and just trying to build something exciting over the next 5 to 10 years.
What do you think of branding and how important it is in 2020?
I think it's massively important compared to where it was a few years ago, where certain companies had strong brands, but it wasn't a massive thing on personal brands. Video on LinkedIn wasn't really a thing, and no podcast.
Trust me, I know that.
So I think it's huge now to have a personal brand and a company brand.
I think for businesses like yours as well, where you're disrupting, right? You're trying new things. You're outsourcing your recruitment team, and you're working in Cyprus and all these locations. Like, you guys are the type of businesses that I think will disrupt and grow. And I think personally, the guys that just do what they've always done it'll get harder and harder. And I'm all about the high growth startup. Like, I absolutely love that scene. So, Reece, I've loved this episode. You've made me laugh a few times. I've really, when you told me she was a candidate, it really cracked me up. But are you happy to speak to anyone who wants to reach out and ask any questions?
Yeah,
I reckon you're going to get quite a few calls about the Indian stuff. Remind me the name of that company again.
I will.
No, what was it? Premium.
Yeah,
Premium. What's it called? The outsource company, the Indian company.
Oh, Pursuit Outsourcing.
Pursuit,
Sorry, I forgot as well.
Yeah, fucking hell, you're like a sieve today.
I write everything down.
Yeah, we'll get it in the post. Pursuit
Outsourcing,
right? So, if you want to find out about that, to drop Reece a message. Is LinkedIn the best place to get hold of you? Yeah. And I want to say, look, thanks so much. I've really enjoyed it. Keep in touch. Would love to find out how you're getting on. I'd love to get you back on in another, maybe in season 12, and see how you're getting on. You might be 30 years old then. You might have reached the point like the rest of us where we look like you just look so young and fresh. It's rare for a recruitment owner. And that's it, guys. That's another episode of The Rag. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and you'll get some value from this. As always, make sure you comment and share. Get yourselves on LinkedIn talking about this. I'm getting messages every single day about The Rag now, so I know we are getting traction. There's more and more and more recruitment owners and recruiters listening to the podcast, so please do let everyone else know, because these stories are keeping people going. Also, if you're on the iTunes podcast, please do give us your ratings and comments on there, because again, that the algorithm will allow more people to see the show. I'll be back again next Wednesday with another high profile recruitment owner telling their story of growth. I'll see you soon.